Hey friends, welcome back. I know it's been a while. We had the whole drama with me losing my phone and all of that. But I'm back and I'm here to share my new space with you. I'm loving it. It is literally my little corner. And so here on the internet, my little corner of the internet, I am going to share with you what I'm working on this vlog. More or less. We got some things we got to talk about. Some things I said I was going to work on and how I'm not going to be working on them. But there's really nothing new to share with you that I kind of sort of haven't mentioned, but haven't went into depth. So I'm not making any type of goals right now because I have way too many whips that are just, some are languishing. They are. Some are almost ready to fly out of the bag and be used. Some just, we'll get into it. So the good thing though is I do have some finished objects. As you can see here, I have shared on my community tab that I will be posting a video on how I made this headband ear warmer. So excited because I really do love it. I love the stitches in it. Love, 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 love the stitches. And if you like this, love it. If you like this, you can use the same stitches, the same schematic pretty much. Just make a longer version like you see right here. Love it. Now I did make this with a bulky yarn. This is the Urth yarns KooZoo that I mentioned before was just that heavenly yarn that I wanted to work with but didn't know what I wanted until I started to work up some swatches. And it could not be more perfect. So a video tutorial is coming soon for this set, well, for the headband. But that's my finished object. My main finished object is socks. I expressed during Socktober time. Socktober, if you're not familiar with that, it's when crocheters, fiber artists typically dedicate the month of October to making socks. Well, I still have sock fever, and I'm a crocheter, so I don't see a lot of crochet socks. I see some and really pretty colorways, but I'm more into comfort stitches. I don't necessarily, especially with variegated yarns, want a whole lot going on, and so I made my own vanilla style socks and excited to share it with you. Unfortunately, I'd actually finished this video when I lost my phone during the edit, so I have to pick another color of yarn, and I already have. I'm working on them, y'all. I had to pick another color of yarn to work on that tutorial I promised that I would share with you guys. So we will go over this. This Peppermint Crush colorway is by Threadsby Nicole. You can find her on Etsy. She probably does have her own website, but I found her on Etsy. And this solid color for my contrast is from no longer my local yarn store, which closed last month. So if you are here and you want to chat a bit, go ahead and pour yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. I'm going to pour myself a cup myself because it's been a while and we have quite a bit to chat about. So go ahead and get that. Pause the video if you want. Right now we're going to talk socks. And I am drinking Beantown. No, it's not Beantown tea. I am drinking Harney and Sons. I think it's tiramisu. That's what I'm drinking. Their tiramisu. So good. So this is the vanilla sock that I've been talking so much about toward the end of last year, and my squishy toe. It is made in half double crochets, and I like to work the half double crochets on the right side and then flip it to the wrong side, which makes a beautiful texture. And you know what? I will show you in the next video what I mean. So eager to share with you the construction of my socks. Mainly why I like what I call the squishy toe, which is half double crochets around the toe area. Everywhere else is single crochet. I did work in afterthought heel, which means I split for the heel and went back and added the contrasting color you see here. Now the sock on the right is really clean. My decreases were proper, but the one here that I'm showing you, I decreased incorrectly, so it's a bit bumpy and not as clean as the one on the left. And this one also isn't inside out, but the one I'm holding is. And I'm going to get into those squishy toes, but I'm really admiring how clean those lines are when I went back and reattached the yarn, because I properly decreased. So yes, these have an afterthought heel that you'll go back and attach the yarn to it. And it does have some increases before you get to this heel portion. You might even increase around your leg toward the top. I got skinny little baseball bat legs, so I didn't have to increase there once I got to the gusset. And the gusset is the portion right below the heel that you'll be working, where you start to split for it. And let's take a look at that. So I did have some increases at the gusset, and I'm showing the texture right now for these half double crochets because that was a big deal to me. I really like those details. But around this ankle portion, you might increase just in a few stitches, just 2 double crochets in that portion. And the gusset, which is before you get to the heel, you might have a few increases there as well. If you want to decrease working up past the ankle, you can, but you don't have to. And I really want to show my squishy toes. Now this one is the one that's really impressed me because it's flipped inside out and shows that beautiful texture of the half double crochet, as well as the texture of the single crochet turned out on the wrong side, but the wrong side looks so right to me. So on the right side, that's the correct side. On my left side, it's beautiful, isn't it? I just love the contrast in the two. I just prefer the left. So you let me know, which side do you like best? So from the video, I've shared how simple the construction of the sock is, and it's my vanilla sock, my go-to sock. It does have an afterthought heel, and I've been thinking about seeing if maybe I could actually make a crochet tube sock. I haven't heard anyone making it. I haven't looked it up though. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I haven't looked it up. But I will say this: my feet get really cold, and the thicker the stitches, the more comfortable I am. So I like a thicker sock. And in winter, not so much as in summer, but in winter I would like a little bit thicker sock. And so I've been thinking maybe the next set that I make may be a Tunisian crochet, because it's going to be a thicker fabric, but a Tunisian crochet tube sock. And I'm not quite sure how I can share that, showing the adjustment in the sizing, because I will be making for myself, but my feet are really narrow, so I think I have an idea of how that will work. So that would be the next thing that I explore. I'm excited about that. But yeah, I think I would really like the comfort, because they'll be my house socks. I mean, I could wear them with boots, but they'll be my house socks. So as I mentioned, this has an afterthought heel. My next project would be the tube socks, but it is a very simple increase working in the round. I did fall into some issues with the heel. I think on only on one heel is absolutely perfect. But like I mentioned in the video, I'm gonna have to tweak that a little bit. So in the meantime, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. So I'll share with you later, hopefully very, very soon, the tutorial on how I make my vanilla socks. They are wedge toe, of course. Some people like the round. You could work it in the round if you want. It will almost be the same concept, except you start with a magic circle and just start increasing there, but I'm excited about it. Now, one thing I'm not excited about is my next whip that I wanted to share, and that is my Swancho, that I was actually participating in an unofficial Swancho along with paper crane yarns. Ashley, if you're watching, hey Ashley, I had to rip it back. And in ripping it back, I had to frog mohair. So I've recently shared a video on how to frog mohair. I'll put it above if you'd like some tips on that. Actually, that's fine. I just hate that I didn't check the fit as I continue to increase. That's what stress will do. It'll distract you sometimes. So unfortunately, I've had to rip that back, but that's okay. And I learned. So I've posted in other videos the yarns that I'm using, and I'll list it below if you want to check out the dyers for those yarns. They're all beautiful handmade hand-dyed yarns. So the next thing that I want to talk about is my cinnamon swirl stole. So I've been telling myself that this is the winter that I will finish it. It is a kit that I purchased from Universal Yarns in 2021. And so I began it, I believe, the last week of 2021. So a whole year's gone by and I've only gotten halfway done the second panel. So I'm going to share that now. So I totally ran out of steam working on this project. It seems like every time I do, I can only do so much at a time. So these little stitch markers are mine. I love, love, love my peppermint stitch markers. I made quite a few and gifted quite a few too. So the reason I ran out on steam is for every row you see in the front, there is another row in the back that you have to complete before you can do the next row, which makes it look amazing. I really do like, I guess you could call it motif or design. The baubles got me, y'all. Oh, I love. I know some people hate baubles and that they eat yarn, but I absolutely love them. Oh. And I was working on this when I went home to visit my parents, and my mom was really impressed with this detail too. And she said, "Why don't you make a sweater that has this same pattern?" And I did talk to her about how I'm not really a fan of cables, but she's right. I really, really, really do like this pattern a lot. And I could see, especially this portion, actually the baubles too, on the sides of the sweater. So I may or may not. And that's why I like to follow other patterns, even though they can seem really intimidating. I like to follow other patterns to learn new techniques. But this one is just so long. It feels like there's just several rows you have to complete before you can get to the next one. And as you can see, I'm only halfway done, barely halfway done to the in the second panel. So I really, really do love the way that it's turning out. But so hard being monogamous when I have so many other crushes. And I want to complete them too. And then I get an inkling to start something else because, you know, new is a good feeling. So it's kind of an old crush. I keep them around, but you know, the new stuff looks really good. Speaking of new stuff, we'll go into, which sounds odd because we're going to go into other whips and promise projects that are going to be gifted, but I'm not going to make. So I promised Genesis. So one of the promise projects toward the end of last year was that I would make her a purse that she saw online. And it is a granny square purse. I've done 2 so far. Now, granny squares in general don't take a very long time to do, but they do when you change yarn colors, like when you have to cut and start another one. And then you have to seam them together. And that means that you have to adjust them just right and pair them just right. And then sometimes figure out if you actually have to work them. It's some work. And I mentioned before, I was hoping that she would sit down and learn to do it, because this is a very easy stitch. And you know, I have so much that I want to do and I can't. So with that being said, I'm 2 squares in. And then that comes to 2 other promise projects. One being Nina's Little Red Riding Hood cape, the one she said she wanted to hide in plain sight. It's not going to happen. Remember I told you guys that I just made her that hexagon cardigan and she gifted it to her friend that lives down the street that she hardly plays with the next day. So it's not going to happen. I'm going to do something even better. Even though handmade gifts are wonderful, they don't always have to be from you. So when Genesis, actually all of us went to the Renaissance Fair this year, there was a vendor that sells capes. Hooded capes. So I contacted her a few days ago and put in my order for Nina. So excited. It's going to have a beautiful lining and everything. So that's one promise project out of the way. And I see it like this too. She doesn't know she's getting it. I'm just going to gift it to her. And in my opinion, there's nothing like the real thing. So yes, it would have been nice if I would have crocheted it. But what she really, really wants is that cape. And I'll say this too. We have a friend that has a cape and she adores it. She's been talking about that thing for years. So I know she's going to love it. So number 2 that I'm not making. Do y'all remember a while back my mom told me that she wanted this poncho? She went on for weeks about it, that Aretha Franklin wore on Soul Train when she was singing for the soundtrack Sparkle. And I started on it. It was original design. It was looking very similar to what she had. And I put quite a bit of work into it. And even though the portion I had was only about this long, it was hard to figure out what to do because there's no pattern. All I had to go off of was the YouTube video, which is a little grainy. So she told me that that wasn't exactly what she was looking for. She wanted something plainer. So that kind of just left me up in the air. It's like, do I really want to invest so much time in it? And then she may or may not wear it. She'll accept it, but will she really wear it? So it just so happened that Jeanette, hey Jeanette, of DOY Creations was having a sale. She just happened to post it on her YouTube. I clicked on it and saw my mom. That's what I saw. She had this really cute gray, dark gray, and like a lighter gray, almost white poncho. And my mom wanted a gray poncho. Perfect. The price was right. The shipping was good. Thanks for the shipping, Jeanette. Great service. I'm done with that one. So I had it shipped straight to her, and she just happened to be out of town. Let's talk about this. Jeanette, didn't I just order that like yesterday? And Jeanette shipped it and it arrived today. That's what it feels like. I don't even think it's been 2 days. Excellent service. Excellent service. Thank you, Jeanette. So I'm very excited about that. Not having that on my plate anymore. Can cross that out. So then that leaves me with a few whips. You know what? I'm not going to share those whips. Those whips will come with the season that it's in. I won't do that to myself. I'm going to hold myself accountable, but I won't do that to myself. So I'm going to grab my tea again, pour myself a little bit more. And we're going to talk about acquisitions, stuff I bought. And I'm going to need both hands for this. I shared on the community tab that I purchased a drop spindle. And with this little spindle that I found on Etsy, it is handmade, and I know for sure that is hand painted. And I believe this is a stamped hand painting. And she just stamped it right before she mailed it, so the scent was very strong. But it's a very natural company where they are very eco-friendly. I'll post all the information because it's just not coming to mind right now. But I'll post all the information for them below. I don't think that they have a YouTube channel. But funny thing is, this is just, I think, a regular type of wool. You can see I'm starting to itch just a bit. And I still worked with it, but it wasn't it's not very irritable. So that just goes to show when wool is in its most natural state, when there's not a lot of processing, if you have an allergy, if it's not severe, or you have a sensitivity, it may not flare as much as the processed wool. So I was really happy about that. It wasn't irritable enough so that I could not work with it. Merino, this is 100% merino. I don't even think this is superwash. I don't think this is superwash either. This might be superwash, but it doesn't irritate me. Merino doesn't, but other wools do. Corriedale does not. Alpaca's a wool, but even though it's from a different animal, I can't use it. And it's usually just when it just says wool. I'm not sure what type of sheep. If you know, please put that in the comments below. When it just says wool and it doesn't specify what type of wool, what type of sheep is that? So if it's superwash wool, I will have some irritation, but if it's superwash merino, I will not. Merino non-superwash, I will not. Targhee, no irritation. I love Targhee. And of course llama. Llama doesn't give me the same irritable sensation that wool gives me, but I can't feel the prickliness, which I don't mind. So your girl has been spinning. I'm really excited about that. And so with that being said, I'm going to show you what I bought. I did follow a tutorial on how to spin, and I did okay following it, but I'm going to do a little research on some more to figure out how I can get better with it. And I'm hoping that one day I'll graduate to a larger spinner with a push pedal. So this is what I bought. Obviously, I was going to go to my favorite indie dyer to see what she had to offer. And that's Nanette of Nanette Wake Studios. She spins, so of course she has batts. She dyes yarn. She makes spindles. And this is what I found on her. Actually, it's her D-Stash site. So she has an Etsy shop, but she also has a D-Stash on Etsy too. Unbelievable prices. Unbelievable. So I bought 2 from her before I even got the spindle. To be honest with you, I saw her yarn. I saw her batts, and that's what made me want to spin. Here we go. So the first one is actually dyed by her. Unbelievable. Unbelievably beautiful. Look at that. It literally looks like a sunset I saw a few days ago. Now we're in January, but in January here in Alabama, we have lavender skies in the winter. And it'll have a little corally pink color with it. So beautiful. But this colorway is called Autumnal. Yeah. It's 70% superwash merino, 30% nylon, and 23 micron. Absolutely gorgeous. And it's huge. Brings me so much joy. I'm really going to take my time learning to spin. really going to take my time learning this in. Because I want to do this yarn. I want to do the potential yarn justice. I really want to have just the right cylinder, and I think that's why when I was working on my first little sample that came with the spindle, it didn't really come with the spindle, it was gifted with the spindle, because you have no idea where you were going to get it. At least I didn't. So I'm very grateful for that. But I know now when I'm spinning, I don't want to do anything else except concentrate on it. Feeling the fiber is so therapeutic, and I have to focus to make sure that I get the tension right. I have to focus and be intentional and be very conscious of what I'm doing in a moment. Oh, and it's so relaxing. That's what makes it so therapeutic, to make sure that I have the not so much just the right weight. What's the word? The right, it is weight. The weight of yarn, whether or not I want it to be a fingering, and I can control how thick and thin it is. So if I want it to be a fingering, or if I want it to be a DK, or if I want it to be a little thick and thin, I have complete control over that. But I have to be very present when I'm doing it, and I love that. So there won't be any TV watching for me when I'm doing it. Probably some music in the background, but it's even more relaxing than crochet. I didn't even think that was possible. Serious, I really didn't. Because it doesn't take as much thought and manipulation. It's more of a flow. Love it. All for that. So the second one is not dyed by her. The colorway is called Clouds at Sunset. It's a superwash merino, 80%. Cashmere style nylon, which is 20%. And it is dyed by Three Waters Farm. Simply Essential. So that was a little sneak peek. This is unreal. Clouds at Sunset is such a perfect name. What got me was this teal. Oh, it's so beautiful. You see the lavender, and it looks so much like a sunset. You see a little of the greenish, the teal, white. And you might not be able to tell, but there's a little corally pinky look here. And it's a lot. Like I don't know if you can tell, but there are several folds of it. See, one, this is 2 folds here. You can separate that. So I have no idea how much yardage, but this would make an absolute gorgeous shawl for any time of year. Beautiful. I love it so much. Now, I'm also noticing that I tend to get quite a bit burned out on larger projects, so I have to figure out how I'm going to manage that. Not so much as sweaters, but more on shawls. And I'm not sure if it's because I just really enjoy working in the round. I'm thinking that's why I'm loving socks so much. So I'm wondering if I would have, I'm sure I have a whole new appreciation for what I'm working on, starting from the batt or starting from fluff, spinning. It just feels so good to say it. Spinning the yarn myself and then creating with it. This is gonna be a whole new experience. I'm so eager, but I'm making sure not to put pressure on myself to get my yarn just right. And I like single ply yarn anyway, so I don't mind if it doesn't have like a really high twist or whatever. But just to focus on the process and the memories made and documenting it. So I didn't stop there. I got a little bit more. If you are a longtime viewer, you know that I went to my first fiber festival this fall. And when I was there, I took my daughter Nina with me. And we met Caitlin of Dunn Spunn. Now, she was so kind, and she gifted Nina a spindle. I think Nina purchased a bag, and she gifted her a spindle, and as well as a little bat to start working on. And so sweet. So of course, when I was saying, hey, I want to start spinning, she was the first person that I thought of. First of all, her marketing is brilliant. Look at that little sheepy sheep with its chai. I love it. And the thank you card on the back. So this is her thank you card. Second of all, her fashion bats are gorgeous. So the first one, gotta calm myself down, it's so beautiful. The first one I'm gonna share is the Venus butterfly. And what got me is the mohair curls. You see that? It's the turquoise. So I found her again on Etsy. Look at that. And this is, thank goodness I'm not allergic to this, Corriedale wool fleece, mohair curls, bamboo, sari silk, and Angelina. And it's 3.1 ounces. This is Venus Butterfly. So gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And going to the Fiber Festival, seeing her work there, it's so different than purchasing online when you haven't seen that person's work in person. What you see is exactly what you're going to get. So beautiful. And then the second one, make sure I get the name right, yeah, is Terracotta Pot. It's 2.9 ounces. You see that pink she put in? It's so beautiful. And this looks like a mohair curl to me. That's not what's listed, but what is listed is Corriedale, wool fleece, bamboo, and Angelina. I have no irritation from this at all, and I'm so happy because it's so beautiful. It has that coral pink, lots of little coral pink dye. It has that really soft green. It's not quite that succulent green, but it's like a fresh, it's like a lime. It's like a fresh lime green. Have some yellows. So beautiful, of course, orange. And that terracotta. Love it so much. So, if you can't tell, these are my colors. I have no idea what I'll make with them, but I'm sure as I'm spinning, it's going to come to me. So I wanted to share these things with you guys because it all feels so fresh and it all feels so new, and we just started going into this new year, and I'm so happy about my purchases. I'm so happy about my plans as far as how I'm gifting my projects, my finishing or purchasing to fulfill promised projects. And then I have to work on destashing. I actually have a bag over there of yarn that I'm going to destash on Mercari very soon. So if you're interested, my Mercari link is listed below. And I'll gradually probably add more to that. But right now, I have really been enjoying journaling. I've always been a planner. Well, I've been a planner for years, I'll put it like that. But now I'm journaling about my crochet journey. And it's so funny because as I'm journaling about crochet, documenting my progress with my work and sketching what I want to work on, even if it's just an ugly little draft, I'm realizing how much crochet is intertwined in my life. so many memories made because of crochet, joy brought because of crochet, tension, stress released through crochet. And it's just amazing. It is just really amazing. But it's such a good brain dump of it all in one place, along with my creativity, my drawings, my art. I love it. And I don't know if that's something I'll share, but I will share this. So I was looking for a scrapbook actually, and they don't seem to exist anymore, in the sense of the scrapbooks that come with that thicker, it's more than cardstock because it has texture to it. Like the old huge scrapbooks, like I shared one before that says scrapbook on the front of it, and it's, you know, I don't know how, almost like 2 feet tall. It seemed like huge. But what I did find is a sketchbook that resembled what I was looking for. And as you can see here, you know that it's my crochet journal because some of my favorite indie dyers or business owners, handmade business owners, gifted different stickers with purchases, or like I actually purchased this one with the Dunn Spunn that the bats that I just showed. This, see, it looks familiar, this one and that one. And this is a super cute depiction, because she's adorable, of Caitlin, the owner of Dunn Spunn. If you can see here, she actually is holding a drop spindle. It has Dunn Spunn here, and you can see the yarn. So cute. And I'm assuming she's Scottish. Caitlin, if you see this, let me know. But it's so adorable. And you know, I would go crazy over woolens and nosh and lady dye yarns. These are paper crane yarns, you know, and this is from the Fiber Festival. So this is, oh, that's to come later. But yeah, I've really enjoyed, really enjoyed just dumping it all out in my journal. Now, what I will share with you is my crochet planner for the year. So I'm looking in the air like, is it really a planner? It's not. It's more of an inventory book than it is a planner, because I actually don't have any calendars on it. I don't feel that I need that this year, so that I don't feel that pressure. I will probably join some cows that are in line with what I'm already working on, but I'm not searching for them because I have so many whips and I want to get them done. So I guess I could share a little of that with you too. So with that, I did a search on crochet goals for 2023, and I'm really enjoying those videos because I am a planner and I am a goal-oriented person, and I found that La Petite, you'll see the name, La Petite Crochet, what am I thinking, Academy? She actually has a printouts for your crochet planning for the year, and I also combined it with unraveled mittens, and so I have really nice inventory sheets, as well as using all of these features along with the app that I shared previously in, I think, my first video for the year. I'm really excited about that. It's all finally starting to come together, and I love paper because it helps me to remember when I write it down, but I also like the quick reference of being able to scroll on my phone. So I'm very happy with how it's all working together, and I do need to decompartmentalize it in those so that inventory actually works with me keeping that part organized. But that's where I am. Everything's coming together. I was just really eager to share it with you. I hope some things that I shared are very helpful. I can't wait to see and you share what journey you are on this year, progress that you make if you're a content creator, or if you just want to send me an email, you can do that too. All of my information is listed in the description box below. But I was really happy to share these new things with you this year, and as I finish my whips, I'll share those as well. So with all that being said, I want to tell you guys to take care of yourselves. I know it gets tough. I know it does. But it's really good to see you. Take the time that you need to de-stress. Do the things you love that bring you joy. And I will see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.